Well, welcome back from spring break. We're getting ready to start the end run. As of today, we have 27 days of school left, 5 full weeks. And on that last week, we come back Monday, Tuesday is an election day, then you come back on Wednesday. Right now, we're scheduled to do 3 more weeks of this NTI and come back for the last 12 days of the year, last full 2 weeks and those 2 days I mentioned. So whether that happens or not, I don't know. I'm not going to make any predictions, but we've got to get through the next at least 3 weeks with this NTI. All right, today we're going to be going over quadratic formulas. This is like the number one thing that when people think about algebra, they think about. All right, a lot of the stuff we've been doing this year is all leading to doing the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is right here. Right? X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now that looks really ugly. I know that. Right? But it gets smaller and easier the more you do it. All right? Write this formula down. You're going to need it today to work with. The x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over top of 2a. Write it down. If any class, any one of these Delta Math videos that I need you to take notes for, it's this one. You're going to need this one to complete the assignment. All right, before we start doing a few problems on the quadratic formula, I just got to show you what it does. All right, quadratics. Quadratics, when you graph it out, is a parabola. A parabola looks like this. All right, it's a U, all right? And this 2x squared plus 3x minus 4 is going to be a U. This is a quadratic type formula, right? When you graph a quadratic formula, it's going to look something like over here on the left, all right? What the quadratic formula does is it tells you where it touches the x-axis, all right? So the answer for whatever, I just drew this graph up. The answer to this graph, all right, is it touches at -1, so that's one answer, and it also touches at 2. That's the other answer. It's got 2 answers, all right? That means this touches twice, all right? So what we're going to do with this quadratic formula today is we're going to find out, using math, using this formula, where it touches on the x-axis. All right, the first thing I want you to know is that I'm only going to give you a handful of problems, no more than 5, maybe even 4 problems today. It takes a lot to work through these. I'm going to give you a lot of, you can be right. I think I'm going to give you at least 3 tries to get each problem right. So if you get it wrong, you get to try again and try again. The main thing is that you're able to work through this at the end of the day. All right, we want to put the quadratic formula. Here's our problem. We got 4x squared plus 19x plus 19. We want to find out, if you put that on a graph, where this parabola touches the x-axis. First thing we need to do is figure out our ABCs. All right. Okay, if you've forgotten it, it's over here. One thing you have to do, and it's key, is to make sure that there's a 0 on this side. Otherwise, you've got to do some math. There is no 0. There is a 0 on the other side of this, so you don't have to do anything. You just have to identify the numbers. So A equals 4, B equals 19, and C also equals 19. All right, the thing you've probably never seen before, and don't let it bother you, I'll show you how to do it at the end, is this plus or minus in this. That just means we're going to do one problem. We're going to do one where you add, and we're going to do a second where you subtract. All right, let's just put this right now. All we're going to do is put this in the formula. Okay, so we got minus b. So minus, and b is 19, so it's minus 19. Right? I'm using the formula up here in the right-hand corner of the screen. All right, plus or minus the square root of, All right, I'm going to put this in parentheses. Okay, it says b. b is 19, so it's going to be 19 squared. All right, keep looking up and follow me along. All right, now I want to do minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 19. I can extend this. All right, so look what I did up there. I've got minus b plus or minus. Under the square root, I've got 19 squared minus 4 times 19. All right, I have to take care of this 2 times a. 2 times a is 4. All right, let's do the math on this. And we're kind of doing this in 3 sections. Let me do this. All right, here's one section. Here's another section. Here's the third section. All right, so I'm going to bring this down. Minus 19 plus or minus square root. All right, need to get out your calculator. 19 squared is 361. Okay, minus 4 times 19, which is 304. Definitely going to need your calculator. All this divided by 8. All right, let's go down. Next thing I have to do is negative 19 plus or minus, okay, 361 minus 304 is going to give you the square root of 57 over 8. All right, with my screen, I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to do this. First thing I'm going to do is, or the next thing I'm going to do is do the square root of 57. All right, put that in your calculator, scientific mode. Just put square root of 57. All right, if you do that, I'm going to erase the square root of 57. That becomes 7.549. All right, you've got it down just to numbers. All right, okay, let's do this. Right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do negative 19. I'm going to forget about this minus sign. Okay, it's plus 7.549. All right, and then you divide by 8. So it's negative 19 plus 7.549 divided by 8 is going to give you minus 33. That's bad. That's your first answer. Now, I concentrated on the top here. I just did the plus. Now I'm going to do the minus. Okay, because I said there's going to be 2 answers. Negative 19 minus 7.549. I've subtracted 7.4. Then I divide by 8. I'm going to get minus 1.4. All right, all your answers are going to be rounded off to the 10th place that you enter in Delta Math. All right, let me show you how you enter this in Delta Math. When you go into Delta Math, there's going to be a plus sign over on the opposite side. You hit that plus, and then all of a sudden the brackets are going to show up, and all you have to do is fill this in. This is minus 3.3 or negative 3.3 and negative 1.4. You hit enter, and it'll be right. That first problem was the first time you all have seen a quadratic formula. I expect absolutely no one to be able to do it after seeing it one time. All right, and you all have heard me say this many, many times, math is repetition. What happens is the more reps, all of a sudden it starts to sink in a little bit more until finally it becomes easy. And this will become easy. All right, but let's go ahead and go to the next problem. Next problem is 4x squared minus 13x plus 7. All right, so let's do the math on this one. First thing we got to do is decide on what our A, B's, and C's are. And there we go. A is 4, B is negative 13, C is 7. let's go ahead and set up our problem. All right, negative b, all right, negative 13 plus or minus, I'm using this up here, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So put this in parentheses because it's going to be negative 13 times negative 13. So negative 13 squared, right, minus, put this in parentheses, 4 times a is negative 13, I'm sorry, 4ac, I made a mistake there. Four times 4, a is 4, so it's 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 7. All right, all that is going to be on top of 2 times a, which is 2 times 4. All right, one of the things I'd suggest is just pause in the video and make sure you know where I got all the numbers to set this up, because I think you're all going to be fine with doing the math after a while, but make sure you've got this set up right. So real quick, I'm going to go over this. This is going to be minus b, and b is negative 13. Right? Plus or minus b squared, okay, there's the b, the negative 13 squared, minus 4, and that's in the formula, times a, which is there, times c, which is there, times 2 times a, which is there. All right, let's do the math on this. It's in 3 sections again. All right, we'll do this first one. Minus negative 13 minus is going to give us a positive. That's going to be positive 13. Plus or minus, now we do all the math underneath the square root. All right, 13 times 13, well, negative 13 times negative 13 is going to give you positive 169. Right? Minus 4 times 7, which is going to give us 112. Put that in your calculator. All that over top of 2 times 4, which is 8. All right. Next thing we want to do is just subtract the 169 minus 112, and we end up with 13 plus or minus the square root of 57 over top of 8. All right, nobody knows what the square root of 57 is. You have to put that in your calculator. All right, I put that in the calculator, and the square root of 57 is 7.5498. All right, now we come down to it. We've only got 2 math problems to do. We're going to do 13 plus 7.5498 divided by 8. Then we have to do the bottom half. We got to do the minus part. 13 minus 7.5498 divided by 8. So I'm going to do the top first. 13 plus 7.498, right, divided by 8 is going to give me 2.6. All right, I do the bottom. 13 minus 7.5498, okay, divided by 8 is going to give me 0.7. Hit the plus button down there and it'll give you 2 little boxes to type those in, and this will be correct. 2.6, 0.7. Always round off one number past the decimal. All right, look at this problem. It looks different than the other ones. What's different about it is, and Delta Math might do this to you a few times while you're doing your work, is instead of having a 0 on this side, we've got a negative 29. We have to get rid of that. The way to get rid of minus 29 is to do the opposite, is we have to add 29 to both sides. So if we add 29 to the right side, this ends up 0. We add 29 to the other side, you just end up with minus 4. So the problem becomes 4x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 0. Now we can work with it. All right. First thing we have to do is decide on our A, B's, and C's. A is 4. B is negative 5. Not 5, it's negative 5. And C is negative 4. So we got lots of negatives in this one. All right. Let's set up the equation. All right. Using the quadratic formula up here. Don't cite it to memory. Use this template. Use the notes on you've got in front of you for a little while. Don't cite this to memory yet because you'll make mistakes. So minus B. So minus, and then B is negative 5 plus or minus square root, all right, B squared. B is negative 5. Put it in parentheses. That way you'll remember to multiply negative 5 times negative 5. All right, minus 4 times A, which is also 4, times C, which is negative 4. All of that is going to be over 2 times A, which is 4. All right, let's take care of these one at a time. Negative 5 is going to be a positive 5. That's the easy one. Second easiest one is probably the denominator, 2 times 4, which is 8. Now let's take care of the square root. If you notice, the square root is the same thing as the discriminant that you all did the last class period. But now you all have to use the discriminant in the quadratic formula. So negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Minus, right? 4 times negative 4 is going to give you negative 64. Right? We do that across here. You got 5, just bring us down, plus minus square root of 25 minus negative 64 is going to be 25 plus 64 is going to be 89 over top of 8. All right, next thing we want to do is do the square root of 89. If you type that into your calculator, you're going to get 9.43. Square root of 89 is 9.434. All right, at the finish line on this, we got to do our two math problems. We got to do 5 plus 9.434 divided by 8, then 5 minus 9.434 divided by 8. So the first one we do it, 5 plus 9.434, we get 14.434 divided by 8. You do that and you're going to get a 1.8. Now let's do the subtraction. 5 minus 9.434 divided by 8, you're going to get negative 0.6. Hit the plus sign on your Delta Math. It'll give you parentheses and 2 boxes. You type those in and you're right. All right, watch these videos again. Watch them a few times. We've got to get through this. All right. Like I said, I'm going to give you lots of opportunities on this. You're only going to have, I'm going to make this, I'm going to go ahead and commit to this. This time we're only going to have 4 problems. All right. So the problems will be 20% each, and you'll have 20% for the video. Okay. I'll give you 3 chances to get each problem. I want you to get these right. It'll be a little tougher on the next homework we do. I'll give you 4 chances to get these right. So 4 problems, 4 chances to get these right. Have your notes available. Watch your notes as you do these problems. All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any problems with this. It's one of those things, though, I think you're just going to have to work your way through it. Guys, have a good day. I know this was a long video. Have a good day and stay inside.